Batman fans will agree that Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy is a pretty great take on the Caped Crusader. Films are dark and gritty and provide a much more serious take on the hero's story. Films have awesome, complex stories that entranced us almost as much as their amazing cast. But as awesome as these movies were, they weren't free from sin. There are a few plot holes we have found throughout the trilogy. Let's see how many of these you've noticed. But before we dive in, be sure to hit that subscribe button to stay up to date on the latest videos from Screen Rant.
Gotham! Take control. Take control of your city.
5-month plan. Planning something incredibly elaborate takes time. You want to make sure everything goes according to plan. But when you're planning, say, a siege on a city, it might take a little bit longer. In The Dark Knight Rises, Bane takes over Gotham in a powerful way. He manages to totally cut off the city from the rest of the world and is able to hold the citizens of Gotham hostage for 5 whole months. But why? It can be argued that Bane held the city hostage for that 5 whole months because he's power hungry and wanted to totally break the spirits and have complete control. But it was probably because it gave Bruce Wayne time to recover from that broken back. However, if Bane would have acted on his plans a bit sooner, he would have succeeded and destroyed the city. He had this victory on lock. Why would he sit around and wait? It makes no sense.
Do I really look like a guy with a plan? You know what I am? I'm a dog chasing cars. I wouldn't know what to do with one if I caught it. You know, I just do things.
The Joker's plan. We think we can all agree that one of the best, if not the best parts of The Dark Knight is the character of the Joker. The late great Heath Ledger's performance is one for the books, but in the film, the Joker's plan is incredibly convoluted and unrealistic.
I thought my jokes were bad.
We know that he is a bit of an enigma. His background is a mystery, which heightens how scary he is because we don't know his motivation, other than wanting to watch the world burn. His plans seem to involve knowing exactly how and when things are going to happen. It's all very convenient, don't you think? It's not just his clever manipulation. He actually seems to know exactly what is going to happen at every turn. He allows himself to be captured after putting up a very convincing fight. Somehow he knows where the cops will keep him and that a cop would be put in the room with him. What if the cop were to have stayed outside the room? The plan would have fallen apart. Can you imagine this plan working in real life? No way! There are just way too many variables.
No more patrols, no more hide and seek. Get every available cop down there and smoke him out!
The mayor won't want panic, so it's a training exercise. I'm sorry I didn't take you seriously.
To the tunnels. Commissioner Gordon proven to be a pretty great and intellectual leader. He usually manages to make smart decisions, but in The Dark Knight Rises, he made one pretty crucial mistake, which led to the city being shut down. He made the order to send every officer in Gotham City down to the tunnels underground to try and get Bane out. Tough cookies, Gordon. You played right into Bane's plan. But why would he do that?
Every cop in the city's down in those tunnels.
We know the great Commissioner Gordon is much smarter than this. Surely he must have known that sending every single one of his officers into one place was a bad idea, especially somewhere they could get easily trapped. His character feels completely off here.
So you came back to die with your city?
I came back to stop you.
Back from the pit. This is perhaps one of the most bothersome plot holes in the trilogy. We all remember the scene in The Dark Knight Rises in which Bane breaks Batman's back. He just about snaps him in half. An injury like that would take a really long time to heal, especially healing to the point of being physically fit enough to run, jump, and escape from a pit. After his injury, he is trapped in a hole in the middle of a desert. He eventually learns that he can actually escape from the pit. He just has to climb out of it, which he does because he's Batman. The next time we see him, however, he's in Gotham and is recruiting Catwoman to help him take down Bane. Wait a minute. How did he make it out of an unpopulated desert on the other side of the world? Sure, he's rich, but it's not like he had any money on him. He made it out of the pit, but what about all the other obstacles afterward? This plot hole has left us very confused.
If they hit the whole city with toxin, there's nothing to stop Gotham tearing itself apart from mass panic.
How are they gonna do that?
They'll be using the train. The monorail follows the water mains to the central hub. It'll cause a chain reaction that'll vaporize the entire city's water supply.
The League of Shadows plan. In the first chapter of the trilogy, we learn that the League of Shadows has a plan to release a toxin into the water to poison the water throughout the entirety of Gotham. The intention is to force the citizens to go insane and burn the city to the ground. Batman comes in, saves the day, and foils their plan. But the League's plan is a little confusing. The original goal was to vaporize the city's water and release the airborne toxin. But we find out that the water has had the toxin in it for a while. So in that entire time, no one was driven mad? No one took a steamy shower or boiled water? There's no way the citizens of Gotham are that bizarre, right?
Light it up. Impossible.
Street art. Bruce Wayne takes his job as Batman very seriously. The hero has a very specific appearance and persona that has become famous in pop culture. Everything is bat-themed. We get it. He's a superhero and he's got his thing. Bruce Wayne seems to have taken it just a little bit too far in The Dark Knight Rises. Bruce Wayne was literally broken, beaten, and mentally tortured, but he returns to Gotham after a short time. Within his first few hours back, he manages to get himself caught, on purpose, by Bane's minions. He escapes and saves John Blake and Commissioner Gordon. A job well done, but let's not forget that there's a literal huge ticking time bomb. And he somehow manages to create a huge burning bat symbol. He had to take the time to find gasoline, draw the symbol with it on top of a bridge, and somehow know the exact time Commissioner Gordon was going to be there and light up the sign. Come on, Bruce, there is more you could have done with your time.
What are you doing?
I can get it out over the Bane.
Set it to fly out over the water that eject?
No autopilot.
Bat's last act. At the end of The Dark Knight Rises, Batman gets on his plane and straps it up with Bane's nuclear bomb, which is actually Batman's nuclear bomb, but Bane just took it from him. We see him flying as far away from Gotham as he can before the thing explodes. Audiences were meant to see this as Batman's last heroic act, an entirely selfless deed for the hero who has given everything to Gotham.
Not everything. Not yet.
But that feeling fades when you find out Wayne survives. Sure, it's nice to see our hero alive at the end and enjoying what seems to be a very chill life, but we're a little confused.
Autopilot system's completely obsolete.
Please, I just need to know what I could have done to fix it.
But, Mr. Fox, it's already been fixed. Software patch, 6 months ago.
We know the plane was on autopilot and that Wayne must have ejected himself from the plane and escaped before that explosion. But how did he avoid the bomb's blast radius? Is he an insanely fast swimmer? Does he have an impenetrable shield he activates in his suit? We need answers, Batman.
Well, congratulations. You got yourself caught. Sir? Now what's the next step of your master plan?
Crashing this plane.
Bane's body. In this awesome action-packed opening sequence, the villain Bane not only hijacks but also crashes a CIA plane. Intense, right? He leaves one of his men to die, which as a villain doesn't surprise us.
They expect one of us in the wreckage, brother.
Have we started the fire?
Yes. The fire rises.
What we do question is why. Bane goes on to explain that the man has to stay behind because they expect one of them in the wreckage. But here's the problem. We have different ways to identify bodies assuming the wreckage left anything behind.
Gonna take ballistics off a shattered bullet?
No. Fingerprints.
They would be able to identify using DNA or dental records that this body is not the doctor's body. There was no reason to leave this guy behind other than to show how terrifying Bane is.
Trying to find out more about our jewel thief. Ran her prints, unless she's lost a lot of weight. She was wearing someone else's fingerprints.
Background checks. When you are someone like Bruce Wayne, you would probably be careful about who you surround yourself with, especially when you have a super alter ego who has loads of enemies. We would think Bruce Wayne would be very selective of who he has around him. Let's take Selina Kyle, for example. She gets hired somehow to work an event for Bruce Wayne. How did she get hired, and why didn't Bruce do a background check on all of his employees? It doesn't make any sense that a thief of her caliber would make it through, or that he would be so careless with who he hires. And he allowed Miranda Tate, aka Talia al Ghul, to become a board member of Wayne Enterprises. It seems like Bruce Wayne needs to invest some of that time and money on better security and background checks.
You're not Ra's al Ghul. I watched him die.
But is Ra's al Ghul immortal? Are his methods supernatural?
Ra's al Ghul plot twist. Most hero stories involve a journey, a mentor, and trials and tribulations. Bruce Wayne is definitely no exception. In Batman Begins, we get a glimpse at the Caped Crusader's origin story. We get to see Bruce Wayne go through some pretty intense training, and he finds a mentor named Henry Ducard, played by Liam Neeson. Ducard trains Bruce and ushers him into the League of Shadows. We are led to believe that Ra's al Ghul is someone else, a decoy played by Ken Watanabe. Once Bruce learns the League of Shadows' true intentions, he turns his back on them because he believes that Gotham can in fact be saved. At one point, Bruce believes he has wiped out the organization, but the League returns at the end of the film and attacks Gotham. It's here that we learn Liam Neeson is actually Ra's al Ghul. This was a great reveal, but isn't really logical. Ra's al Ghul was planning for Bruce to join the club. It's not like he was expecting him to betray him. So other than a cool surprise, what was the point of having a decoy? Was it all a test? What do you think?
It'll be lighter, faster, more agile. Perhaps you should read the instructions first?
There you have it, friends. Those were some mistakes and plot holes in the Dark Knight trilogy. How many of these did you spot? Are there any that we might have missed? Let us know in the comments below. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to Screen Rant for more awesome videos just like this one. Thanks for watching.